Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take that stack of sources you send us, articles, research, discussions from all over the web, and we really try to distill what matters most.
Yep, getting right to the core insights.
Exactly. And today, we're tackling a question that honestly feels like it's always buzzing around, but maybe louder this time. Is SEO dead? Again.
Right. Every few years, here we go again. But this time, with AI overviews, large language models, it does feel a bit different, more intense.
It really does. People are calling it Search Meltdown 2.0. So our mission today is to really unpack this, look at the landscape, understand the fears, are they real, look at the data, because sometimes that tells a surprising story.
And ultimately give you some actionable insights. How do you navigate this? How do you adapt and, hopefully thrive in what feels like a pretty fast-changing digital world? We got some fascinating stuff from you all to get into.
Okay, let's start with that SEO is dead idea. It's not new, is it?
Not at all. It's like a recurring theme. Every time Google rolls out a big update, Panda, Penguin, mobile first, remember voice search? This debate flares up.
Yeah, everyone scrambles, marketers panic a bit.
Exactly. But this time, the trigger is really specific. It's generative AI. It's Google's AI overviews powered by Gemini. It's things like Perplexity, Brave Search's summarizer.
So it's not just an algorithm tweak. It feels more fundamental.
That's the core of it, yeah. It's about how we get information. The big fear is, if AI gives you the answer right there on the search page, why would you click a link?
Right. Does that make traditional website clicks, the whole foundation of SEO, as we knew it, basically obsolete?
That's the million-dollar question, and that fear is really driving this whole meltdown conversation.
Okay, so that's the fear. But you mentioned data. What's the initial data telling us about the actual impact of these AI overviews? SEMrush had some numbers, right?
Yeah, they did, and it's nuanced. So in March 2025, AI overviews, AIOs, they triggered for about 13.14% of all U.S. Google searches.
Okay, 13%. How does that compare?
Well, it was up quite a bit from January 2025 when it was only 6.49%. So a pretty rapid jump in just a couple of months.
That does sound significant. Does that mean AI is just taking over everything?
Well, that's where the nuance comes in. 13% is noticeable, definitely shows Google's pushing this. But it's not 50% or 80%, It's not everything.
Right.
And crucially, it's not happening evenly across all types of searches. That rapid adoption is quite targeted.
Ah, okay. So where is it happening? What kind of queries are triggering these AIOs the most?
This is where it gets really interesting for creators. The SEMrush analysis looked at over 10 million keywords, and overwhelmingly, like 88.1% of the time, AIOs are triggered by informational content.
Informational, meaning?
Meaning those queries where you're just looking for a fact, a simple answer like, how do I use garlic chives? Or what's the capital of Mongolia? Stuff that doesn't usually lead straight to a purchase.
Got it. The kind of quick answer stuff.
Exactly. And for publishers who built a model around getting tons of clicks for that simple fact-based content, yeah, one source said those days are dying fast.
Ouch. Okay. So if you're churning out basic how-to or dictionary-style definitions, you're feeling this directly.
Very directly. The AI gives the answer. People don't need to click your link.
But what about the other side of the coin? Commercial intent keywords. When someone's actually looking to buy something or needs a more complex solution.
Right, and that's where there's maybe a sigh of relief for a lot of businesses. The sources suggest that these commercial intent keywords, think longer phrases, higher cost per click, maybe lower keyword difficulty, they're still pretty much wide open for traditional SEO.
So like best noise-canceling headphones for travel or find a plumber near me.
Exactly. AIOs aren't dominating those searches, at least not yet. And there are good reasons. Commercial queries often need real-time info pricing, stock levels, location specifics.
Things AI isn't great at yet.
Well, not reliably, not up to the minute. Plus, let's be honest, Google makes a ton of money from ads on those commercial searches. Disrupting that without a solid alternative plan would be risky for them.
Makes sense. But you mentioned something interesting earlier about the value of AI traffic. Even if clicks are down, maybe the clicks you do get are better.
Yeah, this is a fascinating point from one of the sources. Tracking visits from non-Google AI search sources like ChatGPT, they found those visitors were 4.4 times more likely to convert than average organic search visitors.
4.4 times. Wow. Why?
The theory is that the LLM has already done a lot of the pre-qualification. It's given the user a good summary, answered their initial questions. So by the time they click through, they're much further down the funnel, much closer to making a decision.
So potentially fewer clicks, but higher quality leads.
That seems to be the potential, yeah. It's just the focus from quantity to quality.
Okay, and this impact isn't uniform across industries either, right? You mentioned it was targeted. Which sectors are seeing AIOs pop up most often?
The data shows some clear leaders. Science saw the biggest growth in AI errors, up over 22%. Then health, over 20%. People in society, nearly 19%. Law and government, over 15%.
Why those specifically? What do they have in common?
Well, think about the content in those fields. It's often very structured, well-documented consensus answers. Established facts, research findings, legal stuff. It's the kind of information that's relatively easy for an AI to synthesize accurately.
Okay, that makes sense. And where is it not happening as much?
Interestingly, things like real-time news and sports seem to be lagging behind the average growth. Google seems a bit more cautious there.
Maybe because the information changes so fast or there isn't always consensus.
Exactly. They seem wary of covering recent events where things are still unfolding, maybe less verified, prioritizing accuracy, especially in sensitive areas.
Okay, this leads to another point. If AIOs give instant answers, you'd think zero-click searches, where the user never leaves Google, would skyrocket, right?
That's the logical assumption, yeah. And for those specific queries where an AIO does appear, yes, those searches tend to have higher zero-click rates. The simple answer is given, user moves on.
But I sense a but coming.
But here's the weird part. The overall zero-click rate across all Google searches actually went down slightly after AIOs were introduced.
Wait, it declined. How does that work?
It's counterintuitive, right? It suggests a more complex user journey. Maybe the AIO isn't always the end of the road. Google itself says they're designed as jumping-off points.
So the AI summary might actually make people more curious.
Potentially. For complex topics, that initial summary might spark new questions, leading users to click through to explore different angles, deeper information, maybe even a wider variety of sites than before.
Huh. So AIOs is a launch pad, not just a dead end. That's
Yeah.
actually kind of optimistic.
It suggests users aren't just passively accepting the first summary they see, especially for more involved searches.
Okay, what about Google's official stance in all this? Are they saying, yep, sorry publishers, traffic's going down?
Not exactly. Officially, they deny that AI features are killing website traffic. They keep saying they send billions of clicks daily, emphasizing their role as a connector.
But there's always a but.
But at the same time, they are launching products aimed at helping publishers monetize what some sources call dwindling traffic through other means. Micropayments, newsletter signups, things like subscribe with Google or Google Showcase.
So it's a bit contradictory. Traffic isn't dying, but here's how to make money if it does.
That's how some publishers and analysts are reading it, yeah. Like an implicit acknowledgement that referral traffic is changing, even if they won't say it outright. A bit of hedging their bets, maybe.
Okay, so that's Google's public face. What about the publishers themselves, especially news organizations? What are they actually experiencing? Are the drops real?
For some, yes, very real and quite stark. We saw reports of major publishers seeing search visibility drops of up to 80% since 2019.
80%. That's huge. That's not just a dip.
No, that's potentially catastrophic for business models built on ad revenue from search traffic. There's a very real fear, an existential threat, as some put it, that AI is just going to eat up all the traffic.
And it's not just a threat to publishers, right? One source mentioned it could even be a threat to Google itself.
Yeah, the idea being, if users find they can get answers from some other AI thing without needing Google search links at all, where does that leave Google in the long run? It challenges their core function.
So how are news outlets coping? They have to completely rethink things, don't they?
They absolutely do. They're rethinking their mission or tactics, trying to figure out how to provide value and make money when fewer people might click through for basic information.
It's about discoverability, isn't it? How do people even find their high-quality reporting if it's not surfaced in search?
That's the core challenge. The immediate financial hit might be modest for some right now, but the long-term threat to discoverability is what's really causing anxiety. They're looking at direct reader revenue, premium content, memberships, trying to build relationships outside of search reliance.
And then there's the whole trust issue. The AI isn't always right, is it? We've seen some pretty wild examples.
And yeah, the hallucination headache. Those infamous examples, eat 1 rock per day, put glue on your pizza. They're funny, sure, but they highlight a serious problem.
Dangerously misleading, as one source put it.
Exactly. Google Gemini had to step in and advise against eating rocks. Google themselves admitted the initial results were a hot mess.
What was the user reaction?
Pretty much what you'd expect. Comments like, AI is not capable enough. if it's prone to giving false information, should have let this feature cook longer. There's inherent skepticism.
Which leads to this bigger concern about AI slop, right?
Yeah.
The idea that bad AI content could poison the well for future AI training.
Yes, that's a huge worry. If AI models start training on low-quality, inaccurate AI-generated content, the slop, it could lead to model collapse.
Meaning the models just get dumber over time.
Essentially, yeah, they learn from degraded output, become less accurate, more generic, more prone to making things up because the pool of reliable human-created training data gets diluted. It's a potential vicious cycle.
And people are already worried about fake news online.
Absolutely. One global study found 58% are worried about telling what's real and fake online with news. And many people are just generally repulsed by AI.
But does that skepticism create an opportunity for trusted human content?
It absolutely could. In a world potentially flooded with AI slop, authentic, reliable, human-created content could become even more valuable, a beacon of trust.
Okay, so shifting gears a bit, let's look under the hood. How do these AI overviews actually work? What's the tech?
Well, Google's AIOs use a customized model of Gemini, their big language model, but it's not working alone.
Right, it pulls in other Google stuff.
Exactly. It works alongside things like the Knowledge Graph, Google's huge database of facts and connections, and the traditional search ranking systems. So Gemini isn't just freestyling, it's trying to ground its answers in Google's existing knowledge base.
Trying to reduce those hallucinations.
Precisely. And while they give quick answers, the gist, Google also positions them as jumping off points to explore links, supposedly offering unique opportunities for more types of sites to appear.
So they want it to be more than just a summary box.
That's the stated goal, yeah. A bridge between a quick answer and deeper exploration.
And what about the future? Google I/O teased some new capabilities, right?
Yeah.
Beyond just text search.
Oh yeah, big time. They talked about generative AI brainstorming with you, creating AI-organized results pages for exploring complex ideas, like planning a trip.
More interactive.
Much more. And get this, the ability to ask questions with video. Imagine pointing your phone at a broken record player, asking, why won't this spin? And getting an AI overview with steps, diagrams, links.
Wow, that's a significant shift. Multimodal search.
Totally. Changes how we input queries and what kind of answers we expect. Much more integrated.
Okay, so Google's innovating. But there are other players, these alternative AI search tools like Perplexity. And they've stirred up some controversy, haven't they?
They really have. Perplexity, in particular, has faced accusations of directly ripping off news outlets like Forbes and CNBC.
Ripping off how?
By lifting large chunks of their text for its summaries, often, allegedly, without proper credit or any compensation. The News Media Alliance called it plagiarism stew.
Oof. Plagiarism stew.
Yeah, it highlights this major tension. AI needs content to learn and summarize, but are they just taking it without permission or payment, undermining the creators? It's a huge legal and ethical battleground.
It sounds like it. Is anyone doing it differently? What about Brave Search? They seem to focus on privacy.
Right, Brave Search is taking a notably different path with their answer with AI or summarizer tool. Privacy is key for them. They say they treat AI queries just like regular search queries. No user history kept, no personally identifiable info, IP address dropped. Very different from models that learn from every interaction.
And how does it generate answers? Is it less likely to hallucinate?
They claim it is because their AI is grounded in the search result. It's constrained to use information found in their actual search index for that query, rather than generating freely. They're trying to balance the convenience of AI answers with providing links to actual sources.
Acknowledging the drawbacks of just getting one answer.
Exactly. They recognize that convenience can mean less choice, less sources of truth. They're aiming to handle billions of queries a year this way, so it's a serious alternative model.
Which brings us back to that core issue for creators. Copyright and getting paid. If AI models are trained on their work.
That's the fundamental grievance, yeah. Using publishers' content for training without credit or cash. It creates this tough environment where if one AI company takes content for free, others feel pressured to do the same.
A race to the bottom on data acquisition.
Pretty much. But we are starting to see a shift towards licensing deals. That's maybe a positive sign.
Like the Financial Times and OpenAI.
Exactly. The FT inked a deal where their content cited in ChatGPT appears as rich links, driving traffic back to their site. Google is also reportedly in talks with multiple news groups about licensing content for its AI products.
So the platforms are starting to realize they might need to pay for quality content.
It seems like it's heading that way, slowly. It provides legitimacy, potentially better answers for them, and avoids messy legal fights down the road.
And then there's the whole technical fight over robots.txt, the file websites used to block crawlers. Does that even work for AI?
That's a really tricky, debated area. Robots.txt was designed for traditional bulk web crawlers. Does it apply to AI tools making more targeted requests based on a user prompt?
Are the AI companies respecting it?
It's inconsistent. And the backlash against AI scraping is definitely real. OpenAI's crawler is apparently the most blocked one out there. But it puts a huge burden on website owners to constantly identify and block new AI crawlers. It's an asymmetry, as one source called it.
So it raises big questions. Will AI run out of training data if enough sites block them?
Or will the models that do secure licensed data become premium, more reliable? It could really reshape how AI models are built and differentiated in the future.
Okay, alongside these industry battles, there's also regulatory pressure. The Digital Markets Act, GMA in the EU, sounds like a big deal. What is it exactly?
It's huge. The DMA went active in March 2025, and it sets out specific do's and don'ts for dominant tech platforms, the gatekeepers like Google and Apple. The goal is fairer, more open digital markets.
What kind of rules?
Things like forcing interoperability, letting third-party services work with theirs, giving businesses access to the data they generate on the platform, letting advertisers verify their ads independently. It's proactive regulation.
And how has Google reacted? Has it actually changed search results in Europe?
Oh, definitely. Google announced redesigns specifically to boost the prominence of comparison sites for things like flights, hotels, shopping, giving third parties more visibility, basically.
Less self-preferencing.
That's the idea. In one test, they even removed their own interactive hotel booking features and just showed links to hotel sites and comparison sites, like the old Blue Link days.
Wow, so regulators are directly influencing the look and feel of Google search.
Absolutely. It shows that regulation can have teeth and force changes to core products.
Is this just an EU thing, or is it spreading?
It's spreading. Japan is implementing similar rules for Apple and Google, targeting app stores, payments, OS interoperability, with a deadline later this year. The UK is looking at it. The US has antitrust cases. It's a global trend. Governments are stepping in.
Okay, so that's the landscape. AI, publisher struggles, regulation.
Yeah.
A lot going on. Let's pivot to solutions. How do you actually adapt and thrive in this? Is foundational SEO still the starting point?
Absolutely. Foundational SEO is arguably more important now, not less. You still need authority. Backlinks, brand mentions, trust signals. SEMrush found authority score still correlates strongly with rankings.
The core principles still apply.
They do. AI might evaluate authority differently, but the concept of being a trusted, credible source remains vital. And technical SEO, that's non-negotiable.
The plumbing, right.
Exactly. It has to work. Google, and AI by extension, needs to be able to find, crawl, and index your content. Basic stuff like not blocking crawlers, having working pages, indexable text. It's the absolute foundation.
Makes sense. And user experience, does that matter more or less now?
More. Definitely more. AI overviews are all about giving the user what they want quickly. So if a user does click through from an AI summary, your page better deliver value fast. Good UX, low bounce rate, clearly matching the search intent, it's critical.
And content quality and freshness, still key.
Paramount. You need high-quality, original content that both search engines and AI models will want to cite. And because search intent changes and AIOs accelerate that, refreshing your content regularly is essential to stay relevant and accurate.
Okay, so beyond the basics, how do you make content specifically AI-friendly? Is it different from traditional SEO?
It is, a bit. You need to think beyond just keywords. AI loves structured information. Question and answer sections, FAQs embedded in your content. Think about how people ask questions conversationally.
Like, what should I expect? Or does X hurt?
Exactly. Answering those direct questions clearly makes it super easy for AI to parse and use your content in summaries.
And you mentioned site owners have some control over how their content appears in AI, using specific tags.
Yes, HTML tags like NaSnippet, DataNaSnippet, MaxSnippet, even Noindex give you control. You can tell Google, don't show a snippet from this page, or only show this much text.
But there's a trade-off, right, if you restrict too much?
You might limit how your content gets featured in AI experiences altogether. Blocking snippets could mean you don't appear in an AIO, losing that potential visibility, even if it wasn't a direct click. It's a strategic choice.
Okay, this feels like it's moving beyond just search engine optimization. We're hearing terms like generative engine optimization, GEO. What's that about?
Right. It's a new layer. There's LLM seeding, which is about proactively getting your brand information into the AI models.
Yeah.
And GEO is the broader strategy for gaining visibility across these AI platforms, not just in blue links.
So it's about influencing the AI's answer directly, getting cited.
Exactly. Being cited in an AI overview or a chatbot response is like a powerful endorsement. And new tools are emerging to help track this.
LLM visibility tools, what do?
They help you track your brand in AI search, monitor your visibility, sentiment, see which prompts trigger mentions of your brand, which sources the AI prefers, where your content gaps are.
So you can see why you are or aren't being cited.
Precisely. It helps you understand how AI perceives your brand and content in relation to specific topics and user questions.
And these tools can help understand search behavior better too, right? Since people might be asking more complex questions now.
Yeah, they go beyond basic keywords. They can generate detailed prompts based on user personas and topics. Like, instead of best laptops, it's what's the most durable laptop for a college student on a budget?
So you can see how your brand shows up for that specific type of user query.
Exactly. Visibility scoring by persona, topic, even by different LLMs. It's much more granular, tied to how your audience actually thinks and asks questions in natural language.
Okay, with all this change and traffic maybe being less predictable, what should businesses focus on measuring? What's the new North Star?
It has to be full funnel conversions. Organic traffic volume is becoming less reliable as the main KPI.
So track things further down the funnel.
Absolutely. CRM source leads, demo requests, downloads of gated content, newsletter signups, things that represent actual business value. Even asking, how did you hear about us, can provide valuable qualitative data.
It's about connecting the dots back to real outcomes.
Yes. Trace the journey all the way to a valuable action, not just the initial click.
And how does this affect calls to action, CTAs, on your website content?
You need to be much more strategic. Generic contact us buttons everywhere don't cut it. Your CTAs need to be funnel aware. Meaning, match the CTA to where the reader likely is in their journey. Top of funnel. Offer a free guide or newsletter signup. Middle. Maybe a product tour or feature comparison. Bottom. That's when you offer the demo or quote request.
Make it feel natural and helpful, not just a hard sell.
Exactly. Build awareness, build trust, and gently guide them towards conversion when they're ready.
Now, back to that point about the value of AI visitors. We hear they convert higher. Is that because they're just better informed when they arrive?
That seems to be the key reason. The LLM has often done the initial research for them, summarizing information, maybe comparing options. So when they click your link, they're not starting from scratch. They're pre-qualified, high-intent visitors.
And you also said something really interesting. You can get cited by an LLM even if you don't rank #1 in traditional search.
Yeah, this is potentially huge. AI models prioritize the relevance and quality of specific chunks of content that answer a query well.
So a specific paragraph on your page might be the perfect answer.
Exactly. Even if the overall page isn't optimized perfectly for traditional ranking factors, if you have a really good, concise answer to a specific niche question, the AI might pick it up and cite it.
That opens doors for smaller players or specialized content, doesn't it?
It really does. You can gain visibility through AI citations based purely on the quality of discrete pieces of information, not necessarily massive domain authority or SEO budgets.
Okay, so optimizing for AI and conversions is key. What about diversification? How else can businesses build resilience beyond just relying on Google or AI search?
Diversification is crucial. And number one, arguably, is building your own email list.
Algorithm proof, right.
Completely. You own that relationship. Backlinko's newsletter hitting over 100K people with 40% plus open rates. That's direct access to a huge engaged audience independent of any platform's whims.
Can't argue with that. What about other platforms? Video, social.
Definitely. Search isn't just text. YouTube is massive. Creating video content taps into different search behaviors. And publishers are putting more effort into TikTok, recognizing its role as a discovery engine, especially for younger demographics.
And being active on social media and forums.
Yeah, go all in on X or your platform of choice, build community, but also participate actively in relevant discussions on Reddit, industry forums, Q&A sites. Provide real value, link appropriately, build your reputation as an expert there.
That expertise can bleed over into how AI perceives you too, presumably.
Well,
What about review sites?
super important. Claim and actively manage your profiles on G2, Capterra, Trustpilot, whatever is relevant for your industry. Respond to reviews, good and bad. It builds trust with humans and signals engagement and reputation to AI models.
It all connects. And local news outlets are finding clever ways to use AI too, right? Leveraging their archives.
Yeah, some really smart ideas there. Using AI to summarize their own articles for quick digests, building AI answer machines for super local questions, crime stats, school ratings, turning their archives into paid local intelligence.
And offering different versions of stories based on engagement.
Exactly, versioning. Basic story for casual readers, deep dive for engaged users. It's about using AI to serve different audience needs more effectively from their existing content base.
Finally, audio seems to be exploding. How does that fit in?
Big time. More media companies are integrating audio read articles, summaries, podcasts into their sites and apps. People want to listen on the go.
We're seeing paywalled podcasts succeed, like The Economist's.
Right. 30,000 subscribers shows there's a willingness to pay for quality audio. Audio-only subscriptions are emerging. And the future. Maybe chatting to an article via voice, potentially with a digital version of the author.
Wow. Content becoming truly multi-format and interactive.
That's the direction, catering to different preferences, creating new experiences.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. The meltdown, the data, the publisher fears, the tech, the regulations, the adaptation strategies. Let's circle back to the beginning. Is SEO dead?
Well, dead, no. Not in the sense that optimizing for search visibility is irrelevant. But is it undergoing a massive transformation? Absolutely. This Search Meltdown 2.0 is forcing a huge amount of innovation.
So the focus is shifting.
Definitely. It's shifting from just chasing blue links to influencing AI answers, building direct audiences you own, and diversifying where your valuable content shows up across a much broader, more intelligent digital landscape.
The game isn't over, it's just evolving.
Yeah.
Becoming more complex, maybe.
Exactly. Success now means really understanding AI, laser focusing on user experience and actual conversions, not just traffic, and spreading your bets beyond traditional search.
It really requires a more holistic view of your digital presence.
It does. Which leads to a final thought, maybe for you, the listener, to chew on. As AI keeps redefining how we find and consume information, will search, as we've known it, even be distinguishable from discovery or personalization in the future?
Good question.
How will we adapt as individuals and creators when our information sources aren't just lists of links, but these conversational agents? And more importantly, how will you actively shape your own knowledge journey and maybe your own content strategy in this new frontier?